prep towards the next race was really any different at all. I mean, I certainly think it's important to take a little time to enjoy those moments just because they're hard to achieve. And as I've said a lot, and it's it's just hard to win these races and put yourself in that position and be competitive the way that we expect ourselves to be. It just takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort. So whenever you are able to accomplish that as a group, I think you have to. It's worth celebrating. It's worth enjoying because we all work really hard at it. Not just me, but our whole team, and a lot of time traveling and on the road and whatnot. So yeah, I think you have to enjoy those moments. But certainly, when Monday, Tuesday rolls around, whether you like it or not, the next week's coming in a hurry, and you have to make sure you're ready to go the next week like you were last week when it went well. And they're all the same, right? I just think it's silly that we think that we're gonna keep the big teams and the that type of power away from winning in the long haul. I mean, I think that's motorsports. Like the big teams and the resources behind them are always going to find the advantage, and whatever it is, no matter how small the advantage is or isn't, I think that it's always going to be extracted first by those groups, and I think that's just racing, and I don't think it matters how hard we try to make everything the same. It's never going to be the same exactly. I think we are certainly fighting for smaller increments now than we ever have before, but that there are still details that you have to push for and search for and everything else to be better than the next guy, and those big teams are always, in my view, gonna 9 times out of 10 find that first. I think the first year that no one knew what was right or what was wrong, so there was a lot of different paths, and I think you could find success in different ways. You might back into a little bit of success not knowing what you didn't know at that point in time, but everybody's learned this car for a couple years now, and everybody is learning what makes it go fast, and from there I think you'll see more of what you've seen for the last however many years.
And when you have an advantage as a race team, how do you keep that advantage? Like when you're in the garage area, how do you start to get an inkling that the rest of the field competition might be catching up to us? We've got to do X, Y, and Z in order to maintain what we've got.
Yeah, I don't think you do. I don't think you ever can. I think that this sport goes in cycles, and it goes in ups and downs, and I've been around it long enough to see that certain manufacturers will have advantages for a certain period of time, and then it'll swing a different direction, and vice versa. And I think that's just the way it works. And I'm not sure that you can do anything to combat that. I just think you look at the timeline of when bodies are submitted and not submitted by other manufacturers, and some people, when you get behind, you probably work a little harder in certain areas to make it better. And I think it just creates this natural flow of people, manufacturers being good and struggling, and you just have to ride that wave. I don't think you can ever stop that.
Thanks,
You never can predict it. I've always had that in my head. It's like, you can sit around and predict favorites for these races for here in Daytona, and that's like trying to guess the lottery. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. My mindset, I've just always tried to stay in the game and just be in a position to try to capitalize at the end of the race. And we've been fortunate here the last handful of times here to have a shot to at least run up front and have a shot to win the race. But sometimes you don't win the race, but at least just giving yourself a chance. So it's just good fortune, good strategy, good communication to try to find yourself up here. I mean, it's so weird, the two different speedways like Talladega, we can't seem to do any wrong. The last few years here, like we've been second, won a couple of them, and just have had good runs. And then Daytona, I seem to knock the fence down every time I go there. So and it's like none of our doing. So I have no idea. It's just the product of speedway racing, and hopefully we have good fortune tomorrow. But just do all we can to try to find ourselves up front and have the right strategy, and that's really all you can do. And try to make the right decisions at the end of the race. That's part of it.